Got it. So good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you. Your presence today really demonstrates your commitment to the children and families and to our community here in Osceola. And we actually can't thank you enough for taking time today on a holiday week to spend an hour with us. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda Kelkenberg. I am honored to serve as the CEO here for the Early Learning Coalition in Osceola County. And I've really built my career in early learning. And I just believe wholeheartedly that it's in the first 5 years that we have the game-changing years. And that it's in these 5 years we create a positive pathway for every child for life. I'm going to kick it over to Lee for a minute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lee Mendez, and I am the Chief Program Officer here at the ELC of Osceola County. And we are so happy that you decided to join us this afternoon for this great opportunity that we have for you all. So thank you so much for coming on board with us. Joel?
Like everyone else said, thank you so much for being here. My name is Joel Rivera. I'm the founder and chief impact officer here at Impact Mavin. We're located right in Central Florida. We partner with community-based organizations here and across the country to execute projects of impact in their communities. And again, like I said, I'm so happy to be here and actually partnering with the Early Learning Coalition of Osceola County. So I'll pass it over to Amanda.
So we want to know you too. If everyone would just take a moment and put your name, your title, and your organization in the chat. We're hoping this is the first of many meetings and times that we'll get together to talk about this and other opportunities in the county. but want to share and know everyone who's in the room. So Kelly, good to see you. Kimberly. and Kimberly's from our history museum here in Osceola. Jen from Valencia, thanks for being here. We have Gia from the Department of Health in Osceola, Gabriella over at Reach. Valerie here with our Department of Health. Marnie, who's in Aflac and Insurance. Great to see you. Janelle, they're starting to come a little faster, a little more furious. We have a little ELC representation. Oh, we've got our friends over at City of Kissimmee Parks and Rec. Thanks, guys, for being here. I think we've got an amazing group that started. I believe we could see a few more people jump on. But again, I just want to thank you for taking the time. We're just so happy. We're so excited to share with you our ideas and engage in really the start of a dialogue about some great new opportunities for Osceola County. So let's jump right in. So one of the things that we really thought was important was to, as we start to work together as a group, develop some shared experience and some shared understanding about the importance of early learning and play. So I really want everyone to just take a few minutes and think back to your childhood. Think back to some of your early memories, your early childhood, your childhood period. And what types of learning experiences in your community did you have? And how did those learning experiences impact you and shape you and help shape you into the person you are today? Feel free to raise your hand. I know, everyone loves talking on Zoom, but also feel free to share an experience with us in chat. We just really want to know those great experiences that make you you.
I'm sorry, Amanda, it's been so long. It's hard to remember those days.
Kimberly, you have any great stories from us on the History Museum? Just even something that you've seen recently.
Okay, something recently. Okay. See, that's not my department, so I don't see it a lot, but I do know that it's really exciting to see the kids who come on our field trips, experience it, and you hear them running around the museum or running around the village, try to capture answer the questions and capture the experience that's shared with them. So I think that one of the things that's essential is, or two of the things, because before I had this job, I actually ran a children's museum in Ohio, and two of the things are imaginative play and hands-on.
On. And Kelly also included in the chat, she did a childhood leadership program, and it's what made her want to come back into the community. Kelly's very grounded in early learning and education, and give back. That's awesome. I think just having those two examples is a great jumping off point. You know, it's great to hear about the positive experiences that even the current assets in our community provide for children and families. You know, it's that reminder of the power of our community. And Kimberly, beautiful segue, could not have been timed better. Really, the power of play. So many people really do ask the question, why? Why is there such a focus on learning through play, especially in the early years? And the reality is play is just where the magic happens for our youngest children, because play really does engage all of the senses. And that's really how young children learn. Children through play are moving their bodies alongside engaging their minds, and they're really doing what children do best. And that's exploring their environments with just a very natural curiosity and sense of wonder. And, you know, play experiences, and Kimberly even talked about field trips, and that happens between children and teachers. Play experiences are just even better when a child has a trusted adult right alongside them, encouraging them and playing along. So when we think back to our own childhoods, we think back to our current community and some of the assets that are in it, we can hopefully see those elements: community, opportunities for play for young children, trusted adults by their side, but also recognize that not all children have access to these same opportunities. And our community has a lot of assets, a lot of really great things happening, but we have gaps too. And that's where we have this incredible opportunity to address those gaps and create some and expand on some more positive opportunities. So our community, like many other communities across the country, face challenges in infrastructure. We all know with too much reality often how much housing and transportation affects our families, affects our children, high rates of poverty in pockets of Osceola County, all of these things working together that really do create challenges to accessing supplemental early learning and educational opportunities for children. You know, one of the things that I'm aware of is our county, you know, within its footprint doesn't have a dedicated play museum. You know, something that Kimberly just referenced, and we don't have a science center. But what we do have are opportunities like this. We have a fantastic school district. We have a phenomenal library system. We have a strong business community. We have arts. We have strong human service organizations, higher education, so many collaborations and partnerships actually around the table just today for this meeting. And that's where the opportunities exist to bridge gaps. It's really through these collaborations with our community assets, like all of you, like all of us, that we can create even more positive play and learning opportunities for children and families right in their backyards. So with that, I'm honored to introduce the project. It's called the Early LearnHub Project. And this project is really, really near to our heart. We really view it as more than just a project, something that's going to start and stop. We really view it as a movement and an opportunity to create a call to action within our community and really increase play and learning, but also public will for what we know is such a critical period in a child's life. And this really does present an opportunity to build on all of the incredible work already happening in our community and ensure the best and brightest future for all of our children here in Osceola County. And I do want to make sure that we acknowledge that how thankful we are to the Florida Division of Early Learning and the Department of Education for seeing this vision and providing the funding for this project. Really, without their commitment to increasing quality early learning and education across the state of Florida, we wouldn't be here. So with that, I'm actually going to now hand it over to Joelle. We have the Division of Early Learning and DOE supporting the vision with some funding. And Joelle's going to do a little work in bringing the vision to life for you all today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda. So I want to start off by giving everyone a quick little overview of what the Early LearnHub project is really all about. What are the different components and pieces of it? And then later on, we're going to jump into what are those benefits for our communities and families. So I'll start off by really quickly saying that the Early LearnHub project is going to represent this multifaceted initiative that's being designed to enrich those educational experiences, just as Amanda just said. It's going to be a commitment, right, to our communities, for that learning and access to enrich the children and families and continue to inspire them to continue to grow in that space of learning through play. We have already began collaborating closely with these local systems and those community establishments that are going to build that connection to make this even a reality, okay? Right here in Osceola County, as Amanda just mentioned, that there are those pockets and those gaps that we want to be able to provide that fill and be able to supply those opportunities. This might be in the form of learning through a play wall or an actual whole play area. And I keep referring back to you, Amanda, but you mentioned this earlier, right? That the learning spaces and opportunities aren't available for every child. So through this process, we're being very intentional about the way that we're creating those memories, the same way we asked earlier on about what was those memories that were brought up as a child when you think back, right? What were some of those things that kind of shaped your life? We want to be able to help be a part of that when we're kind of retrieving those memories. And so it all starts with one big vision, right? The big vision that I remember Amanda came to me one day with was like, I have this vision, I have this idea, and we were super excited. We started, putting together this vision, and it was like, oh my God, we're actually doing this. This is going to have a huge impact in Osceola County. And this vision is really bold. Okay, I'll start off with that. And it's profoundly achievable. We have key performance indicators kind of laid out. We know what we're shooting for. This isn't just something up in the air. We have this all figured out in terms of the vision. Okay, I don't want to say everything is concretely put out there, but we'll get to that later on. We're envisioning this project is going to be in two parts. The first part is going to be the locations and partnerships with our small business community. And then the second is going to be on a larger scale partnership with our existing community system. Okay, let's start off with part one, because part one, I think, is what we've already kind of jumped into, because we feel like that's going to be the most achievable at this point while we continue to build those relationships. Okay, in this phase of the project, we're envisioning partnering with small businesses and local partners in Osceola County, especially in those areas that we know there's a gap in those access to learning spaces, right? We want to target those areas and those businesses that are patronized by families and children the most. And some of those include laundromats, grocery stores, barbershops, motel and hotels, where, quite frankly, in our community, sometimes house some of the most vulnerable population that we have. And in our local community agencies, right? Waiting rooms. We have amazing services that are being provided to the communities. And those waiting rooms, most families come with their children. And why not take advantage of that time that they're there? Instead of sitting there waiting, we can engage with them and learning through play, right? And there's so many more opportunities from that. So that is not the only list that we have available. We are completely open. Again, as part of the vision, we want to partner up with small businesses and other establishments that are in Osceola County that might benefit from putting a play space inside of them. Now, I got to say that these spaces are vital, right? This is a vital foundational piece to this project because they'll be providing either floor space or wall space for us to incorporate an opportunity for children for them to actually utilize play for learning, all while supporting that small business. And we'll talk about what some of those benefits are going to be for the small businesses and the local establishments soon. We're expecting to invest upwards of $5,000 in each of these 10 small business or community locations. Okay, so our main goal is to get 10 small business connection or community-based locations throughout Osceola County, especially those in higher dry areas of need. Okay, it's really exciting, right, to know that like families who don't have access to those educational experiences like a children's museum, right, due to the proximity of the access to the funds or the transportation that they need to get there and still have the opportunity to experience this. And this is really what we want to provide. We want to be able to provide those opportunities across the entire county. Now, the next part of this vision is a larger scale project. Now, if you look at the photos in this slide here, you're going to see that already that it's a larger play space. There's a lot more in-depth detail of the learning experience. And so we are going to be tailoring all of these experiences based on the location that these play spaces are going to be hosted in. We believe that we already have these great systems already in place, right? Like we have a fantastic library system. And for example, we would love to utilize or partner up with a large community system like that or another where families have already built that sense of trust, connection, and an understanding of the opportunities that lie within there. So this is part two. Our vision is going to be to invest upwards of $100,000 in 5 locations that are on a macro level. And we call that our macro play spaces because this is where there's a lot more coordination. There's going to be a lot more investment. And we see these as a lasting asset within our systems as a community from here and on out. We don't want this to be a 1-2 year thing. We want this to be an asset that's going to last for years to come. So it becomes a vital place where children can go and experience that learning right in their backyards. We want to make sure that they have access to these learning spaces free of charge, right? Getting them there is one piece, but we want to also get them there and be able to utilize these spaces free of charge. And these assets are going to also host information for access to community resources so that the families, while the children are engaging in play, the families can also have access to what other resources are available right here in Osceola County. And again, similar to our microspace project, we wanted to be very intentional and work closely with these partners. So whoever we partner with on the micro spaces of the small business spaces or this macro level space, we're going to be working side by side to determine what is the best design to be put into that particular space and what that timeline is going to look like. But speaking of a timeline, I know from, as you can imagine, based on what you just saw from phase 1 and phase 2, that we're a group of really ambitious individuals But you can tell, like, we're fueled by the passion, the opportunity that this is going to create, this lasting change and this impact on these children's lives right here in Osceola County. And so, although we know we're being very ambitious, we've actually we have thought this out very clearly to follow a timeline. As you can see here, we have already began an RFP process for a vendor to create our micro space, actual play-based space, right? Right now, we're also, as you can see here, that we're working towards our partnerships to be able to develop those partnerships on where we're going to be hosting these micro spaces. We're looking for 10 spaces, which is exactly where where you can kind of step in, and we'll talk about that later on, where we can build those partnerships with you and see where in Osceola County they'll be most impactful. We will begin the asset design and construction of that with that vendor sometime in January. And our goal is to have that completed by the end of March. Okay, our vendors are going to be hosting all of these materials. And as soon as we start enrolling locations to install these play spaces, we will begin that installation as early as we have a partner and the construction is done. However, our goal is to start installation and then marketing it to the general community about this opportunity being out there sometime in April all the way through September. Now, as you can imagine, the macro space is a lot more logistical, right? There's a lot more construction, permitting process, that kind of thing. So right now we're working closely. We've already began some conversations, but we want to continue to expand our reach out to all our community members here and those who are not here on the call right now, to build those partnerships on possibly installing a larger macro space into different locations of systems that already exist. So those partnerships have, that partnership phase has already began and will continue to go on through the second quarter of next year. We will begin an intent to negotiate process, which is kind of, our verbiage back here on getting a vendor who's going to actually work side by side with us to, again, figure out what is exactly going to be most beneficial for not only the children who are going to be visiting this space, but also working with the space that is being donated or partnered up with to be able to install, right? So we need to figure out those logistics, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And so that process will happen in January, going all the way through March, followed by our asset design and construction. And we anticipate that we'll be installing macro spaces in June of 2024, and that will continue on until the end of September. So a lot of exciting stuff going on right now. We believe that following this vision and this plan is going to create tons of possibilities and benefits for children right here in Osceola. And again, we're making an investment in the community, not just for the short term, like Amanda mentioned earlier. We're not trying to, this isn't just a project. This is really a movement that we're trying to make so that it can continue for years to come as a vital asset. And so part of all those benefits, I'm going to pass it over to Lee so she can jump into a little bit about what those benefits are for the children and for our community.
Thank you, Joelle. This is fantastic. We're again, like I said before, we're really excited. And so we know the heart of this project is about providing a lifeline for our kids, for our families that may be miles away from learning space opportunities, or that maybe cannot attend or cannot afford educational spaces, maybe like museums, for example. It's about offering them a safe and accessible and a place that is engaging with learning spaces that are right in their neighborhood, so right in their backyards. These spaces are where children can learn, play, and grow, all while creating strong family bonds. That is the priority for us, that family engagement for sure. We believe that the benefits for the children and the families are going to be, among some, having access to learning opportunities that are free of charge, navigate to other resources that they might be in need of, continue to explore their learning through play, even outside these spaces, and definitely help build relationships and connections to their communities, just like you guys did when we were having the activity earlier in this presentation. The LearnHub project is not just about individual families. It is about creating a vibrant community that celebrates the growth of each of the children that go ahead and use the spaces. It's about creating an environment where every single child has the opportunity to reach their full potential. And in doing so, they can contribute to our community's collective growth and prosperity. At the end of the day, that's what we all want. The Learn Hubs can also benefit the community through hosting learning spaces within their establishments. Um, Small businesses can actively engage in their local community. It can lead to increased customer loyalty and positive word of mouth. So this is a great benefit also for the partners that we engage with. These learning spaces can attract families with children, creating unique selling points for these businesses. A Learn Hub can lead to increased foot traffic, potentially resulting in more customers and higher sales. That's always a plus, right? The small businesses can contribute to their community by providing educational opportunities for children. By participating in the Learn Hub project, they can they play an active role in the academic and personal development of local youth. This positive impact can instill a sense of pride and satisfaction among the business owners and their employees as well. We really want to make sure that we all understand what the vision is and obviously what we're looking for. To make this a reality, we can't do this by ourselves. We need your support. We need your time, your resources, your expertise, and we need the collective strength of our community to come together to drive this project forward. Again, we can't do it without you. Our local businesses and community organizations might be asked to donate physical space, resources for the learning spaces. This could include, providing a storefront for a play area or offering access to facilities for educational events. Some of you may be asked to establish a partnership with other organizations or individuals who can contribute to the project's success. This could involve connecting with local educational experts, maybe potential sponsors or community leaders. And partners like you may be encouraged to, may be encouraged to advocate for the project within the community, sharing information. What are the goals? What are the benefits? We need you to spread the word around. We may be needing to share information on social media by talking to your community leaders around you, or in your media outlets, local media outlets in the community. So with all that being said, we need you in recruiting additional participants. I think that was a full mouth just to say again and again and again, we need you. We cannot make this vision come to pass. We need participants, we need volunteers, and we need supporters for this project. This could include encouraging others to get involved and spreading the word out about the initiative. But again, I can't say it enough, it starts with you. The overall success of the Learn Hub project depends on the active involvement and collaboration from various stakeholders and partners just like you to bring these unique contributions to the table. Okay, so then you're like, okay, what else do we need to do? You asked us to get involved. You need our help. We need you, and the opportunities to make this happen are as diverse as the project itself. Like I said, by volunteering your time, offering resources or your expertise to make these happen, there's a way for everyone to make a difference, and we can all do it in this group. We invite you to join us in making a real impact by reaching out to either myself, Amanda, or Joelle, and we'll give you our info in a little bit. I'm sure you can contact us. You know how to contact us, but we'll give it to you. But we also have a great way to do that, and it's by going to the earlylearnhub.org, and thank you, Joelle, for posting that in the chat. So www.earlylearnhub.org. There you can sign up to join our mailing list. You'll receive project updates, invitations, and more opportunities to engage. So again, whoever you talk to, let them know about the earlylearnhub.org. We cannot wait to participate with you and make this vision come to pass. Amanda?
So I want to thank Joelle and Lee for their work. This is a project born out of really seeing other communities that are similar to Osceola. They're close-knit, right? But have those gaps when it comes to growth. Really find ways to work together in creating strength and assets. And you're going to hear that word a lot, community assets, because that's what it's about, building and strengthening our current community assets. And Joelle and Lee jumped on immediately as I started talking a lot about this. So I'm just very grateful and just want to acknowledge both of them and their work that they've done to get to this point already. And Joelle did reference, this has already been months upon months in development, from, reading and researching and thinking and funding and finding the funding to be able to get to this place of talking with our community partners. So if you are interested, we can summarize this. If you are interested and think this could be a good fit for your business, your organization, please reach out, any of us, and we can sit down and begin to talk about what your needs, the children, families, and the community that you serve, what their needs may be, and where it may fit into this work. If you're not sure that you have the space or the resources, but you know someone who's not here today that might be an amazing community collaborator, please let them know. You'll have access to this presentation and more, and serve as that connector. And then if neither of those apply, I'm again so grateful that you took time today to be here. Our plan is to keep this in the public's awareness. And so earlylearnhub.org will have regular updates from partnership through installation. And, we hope ongoing as a way to continue to make these resources very visible, very front and center for our community partners, but most importantly for our families and our children. So 3 ways. Let us know if you're directly interested, help us to connect to others that may be, and please stay involved with communications and excitement around what we think is a fabulous opportunity to improve really the quality of life for our youngest citizens and families in Osceola County. And I believe that we've got a good amount of time for some. Now I don't have it in front of me, Joelle, so I'm just gonna let you flip that slide.
Yeah, no, right now we just wanted to again thank everyone for being here, but we wanted to really open it up for any questions that you might have about the project as a whole. Again, not everything is figured out in terms. We have a vision. We have began to put some of those components into the actual vision into play. So don't be surprised if we don't have something like 100% concrete for you, but we are working towards it. And that's where we want to partner up with you, because we believe that there is some tailoring that we can do with the feedback that we get from the community at Osceola County. So I'll just open up to see if there's any questions. You can feel free to put it in the chat, or you can feel free to raise your hand and speak up.
Good afternoon, this is Christina. So if we have partners that we think would be good for this, should we just email them to you, Amanda?
Yep, send them right our way.
All right, and you can just let me know, like, hey, we already talked to them or not, but there's a couple that in my head.
Yes, absolutely, Christina.
Fantastic.
And yes, we are going to, I believe we're going to put the recording on our landing page. But we will, we can absolutely prepare. We have the presentation, and we have a nice one pager on the project as well that we can send out to, everyone, after the meeting. It may take until tomorrow. Do you have an estimate for the square footage for the microspace? So I think this is what is beautiful is, as we are moving forward with our procurement responsibilities, we're expecting that is completely flexible. We are not going into this with a one size fits all. We recognize that someone may just have space for, you know, a bookshelf mounted on a wall. Someone else may have space for a larger play wall unit, and someone else might have space for even a little book nook in a waiting room. So we really, if you have some space and you are interested, we would love to talk with you about how we can work with you on a design.
Hi there. This is Gia from the Department of Health. I just have a question. Is this a concept born from your imagination, or are there other counties or other perhaps even, you know, states that have implemented the similar project? And perhaps you can share some of those lesson learns that things that have been shared that that you're addressing as you move forward with this project.
Yeah, it's a great question. I wish I was that brilliant. So I read an article, it's probably a year ago now, and it really kind of jumped off. It jumped off of in community. They're just communities, and again, Osceola to me kind of fit that description, right? A smaller or a growing community that may not have these types of supplemental play spaces like in a children's museum, that we all know, like the Science Center is amazing, but it is not possible for all of the families that we serve to go and afford the transportation, the membership to the Science Center. And so it really looked at the power of communities coming together and looking at where in our community can we begin to embed this, so that for our most vulnerable children and families, when we say in their backyard, we mean in their backyard. And yes, a mobile version, while it is tricky, is absolutely, it's not off the table either. So it was born from that. The grade level reading campaign does have some examples and some communities. And actually, a few years ago, a lot of people don't know this, but the Laundromat Association of America actually sponsors and supports book nooks and laundromats across the country. It's a laundromat. It's a movement in the laundromat, recognizing that many families with children spend an incredible amount of time in places like laundromats, and that it is an opportunity to extend a learning experience for children, to engage families in learning and play, right, in their backyards, alongside just a normal everyday activity that a family engages in. So that's really the framework. It's really, how can we now as a community come together around that kind of thinking and work together to find opportunities. So we are definitely looking, I see, and I may be missing some questions. We are, so we're not, we would absolutely consider bookshelves and book nooks. We are definitely looking to create as much of the space as possible to be self-sustaining with small amounts of support. You know, I'll say books are I'll say easier for the Early Learning Coalition than probably anything else. A strong library partner in this would also be a great asset to any of the book nooks and bookshelves, and our business community would also be a great asset. We all kind of need to work together for some of those smaller sustainability strategies. And Joelle, I'm not sure if I'm getting every question.
Well,
Oh,
thank you, Amanda. This was an excellent presentation, and I sent you a sidebar email. So follow up. I look forward to hearing what the next steps are.
excellent. And I do always, in these instances, when I say it's an honor to serve as the CEO, it is because the work of the coalition is driven by a team of individuals deeply committed to early learning, and we are served by a board of directors that is equally as committed. So I often get to talk about what we do, but the work of the organization is manyfold. And so thank you. And we'll make sure we pass that along to staff.